Hi everybody, happy Friday. Welcome back to Clues by Sam. We have a tricky one today, not a hard one, but that's okay. It's fun all the same. And if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily logic puzzle game we play every day here on the channel, and in it there are 20 people and we gotta figure out if they are criminals or innocent. So we start with one clue given by one of them and we gotta find the others. Now, if you want to play along, the link is in the description. I'm gonna start mine right away and explain my logic as I go, so let's do it. Petra is starting today saying that only one of the two criminals to the right of Gus is Martin's neighbor. So there's two people to the right of Gus who are Martin's neighbors, and only one of them is a criminal, right? But there's a second criminal to the right of Gus. And there's only one more person, Kevin. So Kevin has to be a criminal. Now, because of the text that we put on Hank and Joyce, we don't need Petra's clue anymore. Kevin says that two of the pilots neighboring Nancy are criminal. Bless ya. So Nancy has two pilots neighboring her, as the clue says, and both of those are criminals. But we don't know about one of the third pilot, so we don't need Kevin's clue anymore. Now Martin says that Nancy has at least 6 criminal neighbors. Okay, so if Nancy has 6 criminal neighbors and she has 8 neighbors in total, that means that 2 of those are innocents. And one of those 2 innocents is here in row 2 neighboring her, who's either Hank or Joyce. We don't know about the second one though. Keita says that an odd number of doctors, an odd number of criminal doctors neighbor Nancy. So, how would that go? Oh, at least 6 criminal neighbors. Okay, so that's a good new type of clue that I'm excited about, because at least six criminal neighbors means that she could have 7. And it seems like she does have 7, because besides the one innocent and one criminal that neighbor her here in row 2, there's 3 more people neighboring Nancy. Olivia, Terry, and Ruby, and all of them are doctors. And if an odd number of them have to be criminals, an odd number of those doctors have to be criminals, it could be that only one of them is a criminal, but if that's the case, that will make Nancy have 3 innocents neighboring her and not enough criminals to make at least 6. So we know that everybody here is a criminal. All the doctors. We don't need Keita's clue anymore. Neither do we need Martin's. But we get 3 new clues. Olivia says that only one person in a corner has no innocent neighbors. Okay, we don't know who that is yet. Terry says that only one column has exactly 2 innocents. We don't know what column that is yet. And Ruby says that row 1 is the only row with exactly 2 criminals. Okay. So row 1 has 2 criminals. What other row has 2 criminals so far? Row 3, of course, but also row 2. Why is that? Because we have Kevin, who is already a revealed criminal, but we're gonna have a second one who's either Hank or Joyce, and beyond that second one, there's one more person, that's Gus. If Gus were to be an innocent, then row 2 will be left with 2 criminals total. And we know from Ruby that only row 1 has 2 criminals. So Gus has to be the 3rd criminal in row 2 to avoid that. Now Gus says that Nancy is one of 3 criminals above Zola. So Nancy is a criminal. And now there's 2 criminals above Zola. There's Nancy and Ruby. And 2 more people. So one of those 2 less people have to be the 3rd and last criminal above Zola. We don't need Gus's clue anymore because we tagged Derek and Joyce as opposites. Nancy says that an odd number of innocents in row 1 neighbor Joyce. So where's Joyce? Joyce has 3 people neighboring her in row 1. And we know that row 1 has 2 criminals and 2 innocents, right? Since there's 4 people total. If we need an odd number of innocents neighboring Joyce, that means just 1. Because at most, there could be 2, and 2 is for sure not an odd number. So, if there's only 1 innocent here neighboring Joyce, Where's the second innocent in row 1? It has to be Amy, the only person that doesn't neighbor Joyce. And we don't need a Nancy's clue anymore. Now, Amy says there are exactly 2 criminals above Vance. So where's Vance? Well, Vance so far has 1 criminal above him, Gus, and there's only 1 person left who could be the second criminal, so Lila has to be the second criminal here. We don't need Amy's clue anymore. Lila says that each column has at least 3 criminals, so now we know that column A needs a third one, and there's only 1 person left, that's Vince. And we also know that there's only 1 column with exactly 2 innocents. What does that mean? We couldn't have a second column other than column A with 2 innocents. And if we look at column C, right now it is going to have 1 innocent, who is either Derek or Joyce. And there's only 1 more person left, Zola. So if Zola were to be an innocent as well, that will make column C have 2 innocents, and that will break Terry's clue. So we need Zola to be a criminal. And she gives us a new clue. There's an equal number of innocents in columns B and D. And we know how many are there in column B. Do we? Do we? We know that 1 person in a corner has no innocent neighbors. That person is certainly not Irwin. But that person is certainly Zoe, because Zoe already has no innocent neighbors. So we know that Amy has to have at least 1 innocent neighbor. But she could have 2. Vance could also have 2. We don't know. What we know is that we couldn't have another row with 2 criminals. And row 5 so far has 2 criminals. What am I missing? I guess I gotta look at each column has at least 3 criminals. And so far, column B has 2. But since we couldn't have Amy have both Barrett and Hank be criminals, we would need something. Let me go through it again because I'm confused. Like the clues that are not dismissed. I'm not gonna look at the other ones yet. So each column has at least 3 criminals. Okay. All of them so far can have that. Only 1 person in a corner has no innocent neighbors, and that person is Zoe. Only 1 column has exactly 2 innocents. That's column A. Row 1 is the only row with 2 criminals. Okay. There's an equal number of innocents in columns B and D. So if we made column D the thing is, column D couldn't have both Irving and Zoe be innocents because that will make 2 columns with 2 innocents. So either column D has only 1 innocent or none. Could it have none? If it had none, that will make it so that column B has none as well, and that will break Amy having no innocent neighbors, which is already what Zoe doesn't have. So we couldn't have it. You couldn't have column D have no innocents. That means that there's only 1 innocent in column B, right? Because there's only 1 innocent in column D, since we can't have 2. If there's 1 innocent only in column B, and Amy needs 1 innocent, because she couldn't have no innocents neighboring her, that means that Wanda is not an innocent, because she doesn't neighbor Amy. So we know that Wanda is a criminal. Now, we don't need the clue about each column having at least 3 criminals, because all of them do now. And we know that Zoe and Irving are opposites, so we tag them like that, so we can keep track of it. Only one column has exactly 2 innocents, so now we're not in need of that one either. What is it about Zoe? Can I make Irving an instance? And if I do that, does that break these people here? Because that will make both Brett and Derek criminals. Derek being a criminal would make Joyce an innocent, and that would force Hank to be a criminal, and now Amy again has too many criminals neighboring her because she needs one innocent. So Irving couldn't be an innocent. That makes Zoe an innocent. Now, Zoe says there's an odd number of innocents neighboring Joyce. So that means that we couldn't have, because we know that Derek and Joyce are opposites, right? We couldn't have this happen. We couldn't have Derek be an innocent because that would make Joyce a criminal, and Joyce being a criminal makes Hank an innocent. And now Joyce has 2 innocent neighbors, which is an even number. There's always says that couldn't happen. So we need Derek to be a criminal. Oh, we can do that already. Joyce to be an innocent, Hank to be a criminal, and Barrett to be an innocent. And we are done the puzzle. Very nice. I like the new type of clue. Very interesting. Not that hard of a puzzle, good for a Friday. Just to cool off from the week. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know how you did on the puzzle, if you did do it, and what you thought of it. I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. Bye bye.